Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Open Mic Live. It is March 8th, 2026, and it has been a week. Um, a lot of things have been have happened, and wow, I don't even know where to start. But I will say that I missed a week prior going live because I was in Washington, DC for the 911 Goes to Washington conference, which was a lot of fun. I had not been to that one in a few years, and I finally got the chance to go back, attend sessions, um, find friends and everything, and hang out, and it was an excellent time. So, for everyone that was out there at 911 Goes to Washington, thank you for everything that you do, but also just being awesome. It's interesting when you haven't been somewhere for a while and then you come back and everyone is like welcoming you and so that's always good. That's always good. Um like I said, I don't even know where to start. But what I will say is for Open Mic Live, what we do every Open Mic Live is we check in with everyone. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being shitty, 10 being awesome, how are you feeling? How are you doing? I would say that I'm coming in at a high 8, even though I, along with a bunch of people, uh, experienced some hell coming back on planes, on flights, and we're gonna get into that. Also, throw in some reactions and share this broadcast so that we can have as many people, check in and hang in here, with us as possible. Because for Open Mic Live, what we do is for about an hour, we get together and we forget about the bullshit that's going on in the world, and we just come together here to share funny 911 stories, share funny personal stories, just talk, just get into it, and have fun with each other in support by finding some form of healing and closure through the power of storytelling. That's what this is about. And also roll call. Where are you at? Where are you watching from? I am out here in Indiana and this has been this has been interesting. Taylor, if you could share this to the new ranch group as well, please. Let's get as many people as we can in here. But at an 8, that's awesome. I'm glad you're at an 8. Let's see. Uh Brittany, what up, yo? What's going on out in Fulton County, Taylor, Mississippi? That's what I'm talking about. James is about a 5, starting day shift rotation tomorrow. Dude, I'd probably be about a 5 too. Let's see if we can get that number up. But this past week, whew. Oh, Angie jumping in here. What up, Angie? Solid 7 out of Wisconsin. Oh, yeah. Ryan, what up, brother? A 7. Daylight savings time change. Taylor, thank you very much. Ryan says daylight savings time change sucks. Also was up late last night until 3 a.m. this morning on a missing juvenile search detail. Oh, snaps. I hope all of that ends up coming out good. Um, yeah, daylight saving time. Dude, we'll just say this really quick before we jump into everything else. How many of you, because I remember being in dispatch and sitting there watching the time, and it's 1:59, and boom, it is 3 a.m. And my team and I would be like, yes, we get out early, bitches. That's what I'm talking about. But then the opposite. Oh, Gina, what up, girl? What's going on? Shared as well. Yes, thank you very much. But then the opposite, when it would fall back, we're sitting there, 1:59, and then boom, And we're like, "No." You get that hour added, and you're like, "Hell no." I mean, it was 1 hour overtime, right? But it's not enough. It's not worth it. I'd rather have that jump. Yeah, nope. No likey. Me no likey. That was not always fun. But how many of you had that moment of, like, dread on the fallback, but loving the fact that it was, yes, bringing forward. Samantha, what up, yo? A 6, very nice. Because this spring forward is a no-go for me. Calhoun County, yo, represent. But fallback sucked so hard on nights. Hell yes. Yes, I agree. No, I hated it. Hated it. Yep. Oh man. I will say this again also, just a reminder for everyone, Mondays, and I'm not traveling this week. So Monday morning tomorrow around probably 10 a.m. Eastern time, I will be going live in the community, the Trenches community. The Trenches community is free. Let me put the link on here. Every Monday I do a coffee chat for 30 minutes just to check in with everyone, see how everyone is doing. There's also over 200 hours of free continuing education for 911 professionals that are there. 45 rounds of the dispatchers roundtable. And now that I've got a few weeks where I'm not traveling, we will also be planning the public safety showcase, which is a mini version of the dispatchers roundtable of Dare to Be Great, and it is a virtual event where I have about 4 or 5 speakers speaking for about an hour and, just throwing out some awesome knowledge, just kicking in there, so I am all about it. Let's see, Caleb, what up, Caleb? Hanover 911, Trashed Panda Center representing. Yes! Oh, I love that. But again, that link that I put in there, that link is for the Trenches community. Again, it's free, and, I'm gonna be spending time in there pretty much all week, revamping a bunch of stuff, getting, the conversation going because we've got some announcements coming up here pretty soon that I am very excited to share with you. Also, I have been recording voiceovers for the Comverse, and I will just put this in here so that you know I'm not saying Converse like the shoe. Uh, Commonvers, the Comverse, which is a digital magazine, and the second issue is coming out, and follow them, thecomverse.org. Again, digital magazine. They're on social media as well, and they're also a podcast. So all of the articles are in my voice. I don't know why I went like my voice with the cat villain style. So all those articles are read in I do the voiceovers for it, so make sure to follow that as well. That actually drops in 2 days, and I'm just finishing up the rest of the stuff, and, my good friend Lori is the main editor. This is her thing. I've partnered up with her to do the voiceover, and, yeah, there you go, Sheila. Woo! That's what I'm talking about, and, so all of those are there. There's a bunch of great articles that are coming out, and, it's gonna be excellent. I have a column on there as well called, One Voice, where talk about 911 I am 911 stories, and also just sharing some personal ones. And this one that's coming up for this issue is going to be a personal one, and it's called Would Your 10-year-old self be proud of you? And it's going to be cool. It is going to be cool. It's an emotional one as well, but it is really good. It's powerful. So, in all of the articles that have been in there, good stuff. So again, make sure to follow and check that out. And now let's get into this past week. Catherine, what up, Cat? What's up? Says you catch up on that sleep. Oh, dude, we're about to get into this shit. All right, here we go. So this past week we were at a lot of us were out at the ranch. And for years I have been going there and I have been talking about this, and I can't say enough about it. Especially my homeboy, Joe Serio. Oh man. If you don't know who he is, look him up, joeserio.com. Dude is an amazing speaker, musician, and he hosts a mental health ranch and a 911 leadership training ranch event. It's held in Bandera, Texas at the Mayan Ranch. The Mayan Ranch is run by the Hicks family. There's not another place like it. This is the most unique training event that you will ever go to, ever. And people might be out there trying to imitate it, but man, it's not going to happen. It won't be duplicated. This is something that you can't do. And I just feel honored and blessed to be able to take part in this and to be able to do this. Holy moly. This this is one that you do not want to miss. So if you ever get a chance, make sure to go to it, whether it be the leadership one or the mental health one. But they usually sell out within like a year in advance, especially the leadership one. The mental health one, there are actually still seats available. That one is coming up March 23rd, the week of March 23rd here in just a couple weeks. So make sure to check that out. Um, I want to play something for you really quick. I've got some videos and everything that I'm going to be sharing. And and Joe said this as well. And there are folks that are in here who went to the ranch that week. And just from day one, from the meet and greet, you can feel when a group is a little different. And what I mean by a little different is I mean that they're really already digging in and wanting to work. But also during the meet and greet it's that moment when they realize, the attendees that is, that they realize that this isn't your normal leadership event. No. You're gonna be learning about yourself. You're gonna be learning about how to get out of your own way. You're going to visit some potentially uncomfortable things, but you're gonna learn a lot. You're gonna take a lot from this, and you're gonna connect with people in a way that you never thought that you would. Even folks that have gone there who have said, "I'm not a crier. I don't feel," end up crying and feeling. And it's an amazing moment. From day 1, starting out Monday evening. Also, Monday evening is steak dinner time, and good night. Oh my lord, the steak is just like Homer Simpson. Oh, it is so good. All of the food is just amazing. The environment itself, amazing. The way to be. Catherine over here, or Taylor says, truly one of a kind. And Catherine says, you ain't lying. There are no words about the training. You have to experience it yourself. Yes, you do. You just have to experience it. There's no other way to say it. So on day one, I ended up setting up my camera and stuff because I wanted to. Joe wanted to film several things, and I told him, I was like, I'm all about it, dude. Let's do it. And wait, what? Cat said, Caleb, you catch up on your sleep? Sean, what up? Says, hello, friends, jumping in here. Okay, so I can't see any. I see the comments, but did Caleb make it? We'll get to that, but I just want to know, did he make it through? Did he get home? I don't know. Somebody put in the comments because I can't see anything else. But one of the things that I recorded right off the bat, it was like almost 2 hours of something that I was recording. And I had to pull it down because my gimbal that I was using to follow Joe around, those motors started heating up to the point where Once I pulled it off and turned it off and I felt where the motors were, it was, like, hot to the touch. Because the little camera even was like, "I can't do it no more, Ricardo, I can't." It was all messed up, man. Let's see, Marissa, what is going on? Hello, hello. And, Caleb right there says, "I just woke up. I'm home now, only got 2 hours of sleep on the airport floor last night." Dude, Sean says, "The food was so good. Now that I'm home, I'm like, who's gonna make me breakfast, lunch, and dinner?" Joe, what up, dude? Joe says, "That's just how dynamic I am." That's right. So, we had all of this stuff that was going on, right? And, oh, wait, Taylor says, "I gained almost 10 pounds on that trip." Oh, shit. So, um, Lindsay and I are sitting in back, and I'm helping Lindsay with, some of the video work and stuff because she's gonna be doing more of that once, she's getting the hang of it more and doing all this stuff. And, I'll be there recording stuff either way at the ranch, but I'll be recording, like, more episodes and, for the podcast, that is, and testimonials. So we're back there and I'm moving the thing around. She's going around getting other B-roll. And I had filmed just enough before Joe started talking about family stuff, which was something he didn't really want recorded. So I had enough filmed and I had started uploading and cutting some clips. And that day I posted one where I I had to post it because it was just so good. And I believe the video, I'm trying to remember what the video was called. It was called something about something mistakes. Let me see if I can find it really quick on my phone because it had a title to it. And a big shout out to Toby and Caleb for their awards and everything that they did. It was awesome. Congratulations to you guys. And yeah, the name is not popping up. Let me look at my other app here really quick. And oh, here we go. So it is. Oh, I just went off of it. It's called The Power of Mistakes. And yeah, I think that's what it was. Just The Power of Mistakes. So it was really good. I want to play this here really quick so that you can see it. And especially for anyone else who did not get to see the video. All right, here we go.
The road to success and excellence goes directly through mistakes and failure. And if we can't allow each other to make mistakes and to fall on our faces and to get up and help each other up, game over. The one lesson I wish my parents had taught me, and I wish all parents teach their kids, you're allowed to make mistakes. Here's how to make mistakes. Here's how to recover from them. Here's how to talk about it. That changes the world.
Yeah, dude. That right there. It was such a good clip. And here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. The moment this happened, I told Lindsay, I said, as soon as that's done, I have to go back and look for this because as he was talking about it, I was sitting there and I thought that's going to make a good clip. That is going to make an excellent clip. And I told her, I was like, I think it's like 47 minutes in or 42 minutes. That's what it was. 42:34. And it was. And I was able to pull it and I added captions to it and everything. And I just thought, what a great fucking clip. So Joe, well done, bro. Well done. It was so good. So good. And holy shit, there's a lot in the comments already. Let me look back here. Caleb says it's truly amazing how fast we all connected within a week. Yes. Yeah. And Kat says, Caleb, that's so true. We became a huge inner family of our already big family. Yeah. Dude, bravo to all of you for an amazing week because just like you guys said, and that first day, Joe and I and Lindsay are standing there watching, observing all of you guys. That sounded kind of creepy. I didn't mean it like that. Um, but we're observing all of you and we're like you can feel it. You can feel the energy. And I will admit, it felt like it went a little bit back and forth in the classroom. And what I mean is like it was like in the but I think it's just because you were just focused in the classroom, and then out of the classroom, you guys were all together. So what I'm saying was that it seemed like out of class, you were super together and in tune to each other, and then in class, it was not as, that close, but I think it was just because you were so dialed in and focused on what you were doing that afterwards is when you guys are coming together even more, because the coolest thing was that after class, you were all doing so much together and there was so much talk about experiences, whether it was work or at home and in the workplace. And then especially during Imagine Listening, holy shit. I'm gonna be honest, and I told Joe and Lindsay, I said, damn, that was intense, but intense in a good way. I think that session with all of you was probably one of the most, if not the most emotional and intense, but powerful and impactful sessions I have ever done. I mean, the fact that you were all getting up and hugging each other and being there for each other when people broke. I've seen it before, I've experienced it before, but there was something different about this one. And I mean, you guys even you I say this, but I also say this with love. You broke Nancy at one point. And yes, Taylor, it sucked in the best way. Yes. Oh man, that that was something. Joe says as much as people may moan and groan on the third round of Icebreaker, it's so critical in getting the week launched. Yes, for sure. And then even after that third time, people coming together and people are like, "Oh, again." It it really did. It brought everyone together. Like everyone was talking, hanging out, and just damn, it was so good. So thank you for all of you for really putting in the work. So, I'm gonna play really quick. I'm gonna play this video that I created. Um, this was on day 1, the official first day. It was at the end of class. So let me play this and, we'll talk about it because something funny happened. Alright, here we go. What's going on, everyone? It is the end of the official first day at the March leadership training event here at the Mayan Ranch. And it's good to be back. The weather is gorgeous, and as you can see, it's just beautiful out here. And looks like I have a friend over at my cabin. Let's see how this goes. But if you've not been here, you should definitely come out here for either the leadership training event that my good buddy Joe Serio of the 360 Dispatcher puts on, or the Mental Health Ranch. There are still seats available, and I believe it is March 22nd, or the week of March 22nd, and this year. So just a few weeks from now. But let's see if you can see. Oh, right there. Let's see if I can give you a better look.
Hello there. Hmm. Right by my door. Yep, we'll see how this goes.
Okay. So that was, as I said, that was at the end of the official first day there at the ranch. And I'm walking up as I'm recording that, and I see that peacock. I was like, "Ah, all right. I really don't want to get my eyes poked out. I don't want to get chased. However, um, we'll see how this goes." So after that, I end up walking up and I'm standing there for a moment. And I thought, oh, I'm just going to walk. I'm just going to go through. And I'm walking through and I'm watching it as I'm going to unlock my door. I'm like, hey, I come in peace. We're cool. And it just stared at me for a moment and then just hopped off and I went into my cabin, which was pretty funny because I thought something else was going to happen, but nothing did happen. So here's the thing. I'm pretty sure it was that day. There was plenty of time before everyone went to the pavilion to have like snacks and drinks and such before dinner. And I go and I sit in that area where that peacock was, and I've got my Steam Deck, and I'm just gaming. I'm just sitting there gaming, and I didn't have headphones on or anything. But when I was done, I get up and I turn to my left to go into the front door of my cabin. Excuse me. And there are 3 peacocks sitting right in that area. I didn't even hear them. And my Steam Deck wasn't that loud. They were just that stealthy that they were there, and I turn around and I see them, and they just, like, pick up their heads and look at me, and they were all 3 girls, and I was like, "Hello, ladies." I was like, "I come in peace as well. I'm just gonna walk through." And then and then when I put my stuff away and I went to leave to go to the pavilion, one of them was right in the walkway where I had to walk by, and I locked my door, and I said, "Okay, I'm coming through. Don't worry. Everything is cool." And she just, like, moved to the side and is just watching me, and I look down, I just, like oh, man, it was funny shit. But also during that time, there are some good times in the saloon, okay? Every day after activities, dinner, a lot of us end up going into the saloon. There's live music or there's karaoke. Like twice throughout the week, there's karaoke. One of them is iPhone karaoke, where the amazing Bryn comes in and just has her set up and everybody is in there hanging out. And then on Wednesday, there is an awesome dude named Cowboy Wade. And sometimes Joe gets up there. Now, we don't we don't put videos or anything from us like hanging out or whatever up on social media or anything like that. But there's one video that I recorded in the saloon that I'm going to play right now. But it's really awesome. And Joe, I apologize because I know the rule. But this is about you, which is why it's okay. So here we go. I'm about to play this. It's actually only 40 seconds, but what I want to show is the amazing musical talent. And hopefully this doesn't get flagged or anything. I mean, it's live, so it shouldn't be. But let me play it here really quick because it's one of the coolest things and it was just a little bit that I got. So let me play this really quick because for those who are watching who have never been to the ranch, this is just one of the coolest things that you will end up experiencing.
About bring milk in a cow. She said, no, we don't kiss it till I get a wedding bow. My honey, my baby, don't go my mama, don't share. She said, don't baby, don't.
All right, get ready.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah. Oh my Lord. Dude. I have some cool fucking friends, let me tell you. Right? That right there is one of the coolest things. So that's Cowboy Wade and Joe Serio on the harmonica, just fucking working. And yes, Joe, rule breaker. But here's the thing. In your rule, it's about the attendees, not you. So there we go. There's the loophole. Or maybe that's just for me. Nobody else do that, okay? No one else. I'm playing it only because I just think Joe is one of the coolest fucking people. And I think a lot more people need to experience this. Again, whether it be the leadership one or the mental health one, because those moments in the saloon are also therapeutic. And you can just see how much Joe loves to play, and also Wade. And for us to all be there and experience it together, that type of moment, that is what it's all about. Christina says, ask for forgiveness instead of permission. Yes, but nobody else, do not post any of your videos. That is a rule, so please don't break it. I was just playing this because of Joe. That's it. Just that one little piece there. But honestly, I've got some cool fucking friends. And again, in those moments is where we are all coming together, experiencing this moment of just pure joy in music. But also, you don't think about it, but it's kind of a form of therapy because we're all there talking and enjoying the music. And I think it's one of the moments that I love the most when we're all in there after putting in the work all day, discussing, living through some moments that might not be the easiest. And then we go to the pavilion and we have whatever appetizers are there for that hour and a half or so, decompressing, talking with each other. And then we have dinner. And then we go hang out at the saloon. Or some folks end up going to go search for armadillos, which sounded like was really fun too. But then they all come back to the saloon and we're hanging out again, talking, shooting the shit, just enjoying each other's company and listening to some amazing music. So thank you, Joe. Moving on from there, another thing I want to show that I have shown before, but I'm going to show it here again. Oh, and Toby. That's right. I think Toby, dude, you're the best. I think you're the only one that I know of out of all these years I've been going to the ranch who was able to see a fucking armadillo every night that you were there. Well done. Joe, he should get an armadillo award or something for that. It was like you were searching for fucking Pokemon or something. Roxy, what up, girl? My homie Roxy jumping in the comments here. Oh, shit. So on Fridays, I love that this is happening now. And this just happened within what, Joe, the last year or so? Cowboy Breakfast. Apparently, this has happened this has been going on, but I think it's just over a year now that we started going to it. And um because it was the September that I didn't go, because I that was when I was diagnosed with diverticulitis. And I remember Joe telling me, "Hey, when you come in November, it's going to be a little different because we started doing this cowboy breakfast thing that happens on Friday morning. So we're going to be switching up the schedule." And I was like, "All right, cool. Let's figure this out." So I'm gonna sh oh, wait, Joe says, "I've only seen a handful of armadillos in the 30 times I've been there." So there you go, Toby. You've beat everyone out now. You know what's funny though is I bet you now it's going to be like a competition to see who can see the most armadillos. So far, Toby has set the bar. It's right there. Taylor says Cowboy Breakfast was so cool, even though we broke our table. I saw a video. I saw a video where somebody was like just like slowly like enjoying the scenery, looking at the horses, and then the camera like kind of falls and you hear someone laughing. I'm assuming that was the moment when it happened. That was when the picnic table fell. Oh, that's so funny. Yes, yeah, can't forget that video of the bench breaking. That is hilarious. So let me play this video here. Not the bench. That's not what I'm talking about. Not the bench. Oh, okay, this is the cowboy breakfast. So let me put this over here. All right, here we go. And I believe this is the oh wait, Taylor says the laughing was definitely me. Okay, I was wondering who was busting up laughing. Um, you should be able to hear the sizzling, I think, if this is the right video. Here we go. Oh,
We're a little behind. Yeah, we're getting there.
dude. Oh my, I gotta play it again. That's it's only 10 seconds. I have to play it again. You can hear the sizzling of the bacon. And the gentleman in the hat, he had been out there for hours already cooking all of that food. And if you look, the pan that's closest to him, I mean, these are enormous pans, right? The one that has eggs, he said there were 130 eggs in there, and those eggs were so good. The bacon, oh, the potatoes, the biscuits were so fluffy. I want to cry again because the food made me emotional. The beans had a little kick to them, the seasoning, and it had, I think he said like Monterey Jack cheese in there. And then you see him, he has that coffee, cowboy coffee. Oh, right over the open fire. So, so good. Wait a minute. That picnic table is the one that broke? Oh my god. I didn't even realize that was the one. I just started looking here in the comments to see this. Let me see if I can switch this over here too. I can there we go. I can put them on the screen as well. The comments. Holy crap. Taylor says, little did y'all know the group back there was about to go down. That is hilarious. Where the hell what was I doing? I was too busy eating. I was stuffing my face. So that is the calm before the storm, huh? Seeing you guys back there all innocent and shit right before it breaks. Oh, that's funny. Okay, let me play this again. Just that sizzle. Oh.
We're a little behind. Yeah, we're getting there.
Oh, and they had grits too. Oh my lord. So, so good. But that coffee, it was amazing when I went up to get my coffee. The dude is like, "Yep, cowboy coffee." Over an open fire like that, he goes, "It's the best, especially cowboy coffee because it has a little bit at the end that you can chew on." And he was not lying. There was you could chew on that for sure. And I had like 3 or 4 cups of that coffee, and it was just so good. Ryan over here says, "I'm just glad it didn't break on my side." Oh, that's hilarious. But that that is a look at your cowboy breakfast. Oh man, let's see. Joe over here says the power of an individual. One participant a couple of years ago said she thought the group would be going horseback riding more than once in the week. So we added Wednesday ride and cowboy breakfast ride. See, one voice can change. Yeah, just like Joe says, the power of one individual. Dude, for real. Because that has been an experience. And even better, here's the thing, I've been going, and again, it's been an honor to do so. I've been going since 2020, like the end of 2021, I believe, or like the beginning of 2022, something like that. Um, and every time, I think it was either on the last day or the day before, we would all try to get um the class picture on, like, the last day, and it was right out in back of the conference center, and it was always kinda tough to set up a camera so that everyone could get in there, and now that we've done this at Cowboy Breakfast, it's even better scenery with all the trees there, all the horses in back of us, and usually Wade is the one that's there, and that dude is tall as fuck, so he can just, like, tower over and take the pictures and everything. Oh, wait, Kat says, "Hey, we need the class picture." Yes, we do. So someone posted in the group, whoever has it, and then we can start sharing that as well. But that is such a better area to take that picture after everyone has just had. Yes, yeah, Joe says yes, much better photo. Um, and it's not that the other photos weren't that great. I mean, we had fun with those as well. It was just hard to set up, especially because the land, it's not level and it goes down back into a hill going down towards the trees. So like everyone's standing there, right? But you're kind of propping each other up a little bit. And but again, it's a way better look at at everything there and all of us in one post or one picture rather. So, it has been awesome. It has been really good. But again, if you've not had a chance to go to the ranch and you do get a chance or there's scholarships available or whichever, starting soon will be the Within the Trenches Continuing Education Scholarship is on its way back. And the ranch will be one of those places that you'll be able to go to. Hell, maybe I'll get a chance to do 2, but that's more to come. That was a preview of some of the stuff that I've been waiting to talk about and say. So, and I talked to Joe about that a while back, so he's hearing about it for the first time again. But it'll be cool. It'll be good because it'll be able to get more people there. See, Teresa here says Lindsay had to get on the truck to get us all in it. Yeah, thank you, Lindsay. Yes, well done. Yeah, because Joe was moving the truck around and everything too. In the past, Wade has done it, and it was really good to be able to do that. So, and I'm excited. Yes, you're welcome, dude. I swear by this ranch and everything that happens there. Um, it's just an amazing experience. So we're about 45 minutes in, and I want to talk about the aftermath of the ranch. The aftermath is everyone trying to get home. And myself and several others experienced something that wow, I'm still, I can't believe that it was yesterday or even started 2 days ago. Like, I had to look at a calendar to make sure that today was Sunday. Oh, shit. So, here we go. Hold on a minute. I just got Oh! Okay, hold on. Before I say that, let me let me move something over here. Let me see if I can pull this up. All right, give me just 1 second. And Let me put this on the screen. Boom, there we are. Oh, shit. I just got this sent over to me, so yeah. That looks so good, man. Oh, wrong one. Let's see. Oh, there's the photo. Woo! See, look how gorgeous that all looks. You've got the trees in the back. The horses are just chilling. Like, when are we going? And then the entire class, all of us there, chilling like Bob Dylan. Thank you, Lindsay. Lindsay literally just texted that to me right now. and and I was able to pull it so that I could show it up here as well. Thank you, dude. Thank you very much. And yeah, very cool. There's all of us right there. I love it. What an amazing time. Seriously, an amazing time. So, that day, my homie, shout out to my homie, my sis, or as she calls herself, my abuela, even though she's not old enough to be an abuela to me. Nancy Lockhart, who I love so much. We are homies. We've known each other for so long. Nancy is the best and is one of my has been one of my supporters on what I do for a long time. And while we were there, she asked me, "Oh, wait." Joe says, "Check your messages again." I see. I mean, there are two photos here. Was there something else? Was there something else that came through? I see two pictures that Lindsay sent, but I just want to make sure that there's not anything else unless it hasn't gone through yet. Either way, let me know. I'll have my messages open right now in case something else pops up. But um during the week, Nancy had said, and it was earlier in the week, Nancy asked me, "Oh, it's a video. Okay. I'll wait to see if it pops up." Because it hasn't come through yet, but I'll put it up here in a moment. So earlier in the week, Nancy had said to me, "Hey brother, like you got room in your vehicle for me to, to bring me to the airport when you come?" And I said, "Yeah, for sure." I said, "I'm all about it." I said, "I'll give you a ride for sure." So um the day comes, and Friday, we've gone through discussions and everything after cowboy breakfast. We're all taking pictures. We are also just everyone's saying, goodbye. And oh, here it is. Okay, hold on. I'll get to that here in just one moment. Let me pull this over. And all right, let me see. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, let me play this here really quick, and then I'll continue with what I was saying. All right, here we go. Yeah, hell yeah, that was awesome. Thank you both for sending that over. I love it that I'm able to just pull it up here. Technology, you gotta love it. That was awesome. So yeah, everyone on their horses there going down to cowboy breakfast and such, or on the way back, whichever one. Either way, that is awesome. Yeah, well done, well done. Love it. But also, that's part of the experience of being at the ranch for that training event, whether it be leadership or the mental health one. And it's just so much fun. There's not enough words to describe it. Like, exactly. Again, thank you all for being there, putting in the work, and just really focusing on you and wanting to do more than what you even thought you could do. So Nancy and I are headed to the airport. Now she's flying American and I'm flying Delta. I wasn't paying attention. I thought that um, San Antonio was kind of like Indy, where like the airport that is, where it kind of wraps around. So in Indianapolis, the A concourse and B concourse, you can actually go in a circle and you can like meet up with people who are on the other side. So when we got there, Nancy was going to be boarding in about an hour, and I had about 2 hours or so before getting on. And she was on the B side and I was on the A side. Well, we go through security and I said, I'll find you on the other side and we'll meet up for lunch or something. Because some people had stayed and some had not for lunch there at the ranch. So we were going to meet up and maybe if there was anybody else there. Well, I go looking and I get a hold of her and I said, "Hey, there's no way to get over to your gate. We would have to come out of security, go somewhere outside of those gates, and then, go back through security again." And because she was going to have to board a lot sooner than me, I said, "Let's not risk it because if security starts getting really heavy, which it was starting to get heavy traffic." I said, "You're not going to make it. So we'll just next time. We'll get together next time." So she ends up on her plane. I get go. I get go. I go and get something to eat myself, and then get ready to take off. And I saw a few people there at the airport as well, which was cool. And then we get on the plane. So here's the thing. I was supposed to be sitting in Atlanta for like a 3-hour layover. I think it was 2 hours, 48 minutes was the exact time that the app said. They tell us before we leave that there are some storms that have been going on, but we're good to go as of right now, as of that time. So we take off. Smooth sailing, not a lot of turbulence or anything like that. It was easy going. I've got my Steam Deck, so I'm playing Borderlands or whatever game I was playing at the time. And then it feels like we've been on the plane too long. And I thought, I wonder if we're going in circles. And sure as shit, we were. Pilot comes on and goes, ladies and gentlemen, just want to give you an update. Uh, we have been kind of circling because we got word from Atlanta that they've got some storms going on there. But don't worry, we've got plenty of fuel. So we're just going to continue until they tell us that it's okay for us to land. So we're going, and I'm still continuing to game. And after a while, pilot comes on again and says, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize, but we need to divert. We still haven't been given the go ahead to go into Atlanta. So we are now going to divert to Jackson, Mississippi, that is. Oh, Caleb says that's exactly what we did over Dallas. So now people are freaking out because they have connections and some of them had real tight connections. And I've been there before where I've had a super tight connection. And luckily, people have sat back and have sat down and have waited and have said, just go, 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 go. And that's awesome. But then there are some people who are just straight up assholes and they're like, we all have to get off. I don't care if you have a tight connection. And they don't move. And it's like, why are you going to be like that? Just wait. Karma's a bitch. And that shit sucks. But you're going to get yours back. So some of those people, man, people can suck, right? Not all the time, but sometimes. So we're now diverting to Jackson, Mississippi. And then a few like minutes later, actually, it might only have been under a minute because it was pretty fast. It wasn't even that long. Pilot gets on and goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, actually, we're going to be going into Atlanta. We're not going to Mississippi after all." And what's crazy is that I had already received, like, once he was telling us we were going to Mississippi, on my app, it was saying that, like, it was switching all of the flight information. And then he's like, "Nope, they just gave us a window to get into Atlanta, so we are going to go." So we start going, and he's like, "We're about 25 minutes away now." And my app changes again, and it says that the flight to Mississippi has been canceled. Now we're going into Atlanta. I was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy." So we go into Atlanta, and we land safely. However, once we get there, we have to sit on the runway for a little while because everyone landed at the same time pretty much, and we're waiting for a time. And again, people are freaking out because they have connections. And there's a guy behind me who's talking to one of the flight attendants, and the dude goes, "Don't worry, I will get up and try to tell people to get out of your way so that you can go to your connection." I stayed sitting down with the folks in my row because I have, well, now it's more like a 2 hour um layover that I'm going to have. Either way, but the people who were sitting to my left, they kind of had tight connections. So once we finally got up there and that ding went off, you hear everyone ripping off their buckles. And the one dude who is behind me goes up, and I stand up and I said, "Go, go." I said, "Get in front of me." But then 2 seats ahead of us are two dudes who are like, "I mean, we don't really have tight connections, but we're not moving." I'm like, again. And then other people are saying they have tight connections, and they're like, "We're all gotta get off." I was like, "Good lord, man." So the 2 that were by me, I went to let them in front of me, and I got pushed forward, and I was like, "I'm sorry." They're like, "Don't worry, just go." So we're all trying to go. Wait, Caleb says, "That also happened to me." He goes, "We redirected to Houston and sat on the runway." See, Caleb had it worse. Caleb actually sat on the plane on the runway, and he says for almost 6 hours. Dude, I don't know how I would have handled that. Like, I would have had my system gaming and everything, so I think I would have been okay, but I don't know. I think I would not wanna be on a plane ever again having to sit there that long with everyone. Oh my god. The smell of ass and people sweating. I can't imagine how bad that was, dude. But you know what was cool at the same time is that all of us in this group that we have on Facebook of the most recent class for the ranch, we were all checking in with each other to see how people were and if people had made it home yet. So all of you are awesome for that. Thank you. So, oh wait, Caleb says, then had to get to a hotel one night and slept on the airport floor last night. Finally home today. I am so glad that you made it home, man. So getting to Atlanta and everyone finally gets off, and we ended up having to switch gates. So actually, we landed at B20 and my gate was B17. So I was like, sweet, I'm already going to be there. Cool. But like I said, I have like 2 hours or so of layover. So luckily, I had access to Delta's Sky Club. So I go in there, and I hadn't had lunch or anything. So my stomach is growling like hell. And I get in there, I get some food, I sit down and I plug in and I just continue gaming because I'm like, it'll be all right. It'll be over soon. I'll get home. But also checking in with everyone to see where everyone's at. And I end up getting a text message saying that we've got a delay. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. That's fine. I'm here in the Sky Club. It's okay. I'll get whatever other food that I need and I'll just keep gaming. I'll be home soon. Also letting my family know that flights are being delayed, but not to worry, everything will be all right. So I end up getting another text message, and it's another delay. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And again, it just continues. So I end up switching from the one seat that I was in because there's not a lot of people there anymore. So I get into a more comfy chair and I'm sitting there gaming and I hear someone say, "Oh, damn, bro." And I turn around and I look and there's this dude standing there and he goes, "That goes hard right there." He goes, "Is that the new Switch or what is that?" And I said, "No, it's a Steam Deck." And he goes, "You are making me feel like I should have brought mine." He goes, "You got it going right there." He goes, "That is cold." And I was like, "Thanks, man." And he goes, "Yep." And so he goes back, and I'm sorry, my stomach is growling right now. So if you hear it, my bad. So um, I continue, and we get another delay. And then a voice comes over the for an announcement and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, we will be closing the Sky Club at 10:30. Please get your things." And yeah, so telling us they're gonna close. I'm like, I thought these things were open like 24/7. Nope. And it was close to 10:30 already, and I was like, "All right, well, it's almost time for me to board anyway." So I go down to my gate, there's nowhere to sit, so I sit on the other side, like, directly across from my gate because 'cause they've got some seats there, and I'm sitting there, bust out the Steam Deck again, and I just start playing, and that is when everything started to go south. Because everyone is getting angry now that all of these flights are getting delayed. And before I went to sit down, I'm standing there and there was a dude with this straw hat, and that guy is so pissed off. And he starts yelling out that I've been here all day. I've been traveling all day. I've been traveling since yesterday. This dude was traveling from Costa Rica, apparently, and he was stuck in had been stuck in Atlanta, and he was supposed to get that flight, and and he had been on standby, and I'm just standing there listening to this dude, and then he's yelling out loud, but he's yelling at the Delta people too at their desks, and I'm thinking in my head, "Dude, this is not their fault. They can't control this." And these are the moments, like in my communications course, when I ask 911 dispatchers, how many of you have ever used your superpowers in real life to help you get through situations? And in this time, I mean just remaining calm and also choosing your battles. Because for me, I'm not going to waste my energy on shit that I can't control. If it's within my grasp of control, then maybe, I will throw some energy into it. But why? Why? Like, I get it. Everyone's at their breaking point, but sometimes it's better to just have a cool head. So that is happening, right? And then I find that seat across, and I'm sitting there. More delays, more delays. Keeps happening. That same guy ends up yelling again. And he's like, "This is bullshit. I am never coming through Atlanta again. Never, never in my life." And he's just going and going. And he walks off. He goes, "I'm going to leave. I'm going to walk off because I'm losing it right now." And in my head, I thought, dude, that's the best. That's the best choice. Go. Just go. And then a guy who's sitting close to me on the other side, he's watching him and he's smiling and he goes, that man said no lies. He said nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. He was speaking his truth. Well done. Well done. So there was some humor being interjected there. And so that was hilarious. And then that dude, that same guy who was saying he said nothing wrong, he goes, Give me a plane. I will fly that bitch myself. Give me a plane. And then I felt bad because where I was sitting at that gate, the flight had already been canceled. There was nothing else going on there. And the guy who's working the desk, there was a line of people. And he gets on the horn and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, if you are standing in my line at this moment and you're waiting for standby or trying to get to another flight, I cannot help you. The computer is shut down. You need to go to gate B19, Bravo 19. That is where they will help you." 2 people left out of the line. 2 people. And people are still trying to walk up to ask about this. And he gets on the horn 2 more times and says the exact same thing. I felt so bad for that dude because people were going off on him, and he's like, "I just said right now you have to go to B19." And then someone's like, "Well, our flight got canceled. What do we do with our bags?" And he explained that, but people weren't paying attention. And I heard him say, "I was supposed to be out of work 2 hours ago." And finally, like the last few people, they weren't paying attention when another group took off. And he just put on his backpack and he walked out. Shit, I would have done the same thing. So as I'm sitting there, my flight, our flight going back to Indy continues to get delayed. And the guy at the desk at my gate, he gets on the horn again and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, I understand. I feel your pain. I understand that you are all tired. You have been here for so long." He goes, "I'm tired too. And I also feel abused." And then he unkeys and I went, "Oh." But you know what? Good job. Well done. Because he didn't get shitty with people. He was nice the whole time. But he also wanted people to know how he felt just in that one last part. And people that were sitting at my gate started clapping for him and said, "Well done, like, good job. You don't deserve that." And I was like, "Yeah, dude, you don't. Don't take that shit." But he did it in it was it was just I was proud of that guy because he was getting a lot of shit that he for stuff that he can't control. And finally, it is now almost 3 in the morning, and we kept getting those delays. I heard one of the pilots go, he sat in back of me with some flight attendants, and he goes, "There's no plane." So there was a plane out there, but there weren't enough people to be able to, I guess, bring it in and get the jet brit and like do all this other stuff. And they ended up leaving because he's like, "They're about to announce something." And I was like, "Fuck. Oh my God, this is not going to happen. We're not leaving tonight." So then the guy at the desk at my gate, remember, I'm sitting on the other side, and I have now at this time put away my Steam Deck because I'm ready for what they're going to say. And he keys up and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, I know. I know that all of you are not feeling great, and I appreciate your patience. I really do. Your patience, your kindness, I appreciate it all. But unfortunately, I have an announcement. And before all of you scream and yell, I want you all to take a deep breath, okay? Let's take a deep breath. And I'm sorry to say that your flight has now been delayed until 11 a.m." And people, just the gasps. Yes, que mala suerte. Yes, exactly. The bad luck, like all of it. Oh my lord, yes. Dude, everyone starts flipping out and he's trying to calm them down and he's saying he's explaining everything that is going to happen. And I'm like, "Fuck. okay, like that's it. Now I need to figure out what I'm going to do because I had already booked a room in Indianapolis because I was thinking I was going to be too tired and I was not going to be able to make it home. I had to eat the cost of that room because I couldn't cancel it. They told me like you're going to get charged either way. And I was like, all right, well, fuck it. I'm not going to get the super charge on there. So it's just going to sit there. No one's going to have the room. So I ate that cost. When I left the area, I had already seen on my app that it was going to be, um, the next day, and it was going to be in like E-gates or whatever that I was going to be leaving. And I was supposed to board at like 10 in the morning. Now, at this time, people are lining up. You would think that it was a new ride at Disney, the amount of people who were in line for customer service to get on standbys and other flights. And I was like, well, I already have a seat for the next flight. I just need to figure out where I'm going to wait it out. So I started going towards the E-gates and I thought, you know what? Maybe I should stay at the B gates um, because it might change. So I'm walking through where the trams are, and this is what I see. So let me play this for you guys really quick. It's a super short video. So there you have it. All throughout this area are people camped out because there are plugs there as well. So people are plugged in with their phones to charge. They're watching movies, they're scrolling social media and such, but all lined up. This right here is at 3:04 in the morning. And it doesn't look like a lot of people right there, but as you get further, like if you see all the way in the back, there's way more. And this is what you saw all throughout the airport. How crazy is that? So I go back to B gates where the food court is, and a bunch of people are sitting at those tables because the electrical sockets are there. I plug in my phone and I plug in my Steam Deck and I just start gaming again. And I'm just hoping that I can stay awake because I was dying by that time. And I got so focused into the gaming, I was gaming for like 3 or so hours straight. And then I thought, well, the Sky Club's going to be opening soon. Maybe I can get in, and it's almost 6 o'clock in the morning. So I go to the E-gates, I go to the Sky Club, and I'm in line. I'm about 6 or 7 in. I'm like, I just need to hold out. I just need to hold out. I'm exhausted as hell, but I just need to hold out because I'll be leaving soon, just in a few hours. I get into the Sky Club, get some breakfast, drink a latte, and actually I had 2 lattes. And then, um, as I'm drinking those latte Amanda, you have the weirdest airport adventures. I see a book idea. Dude, you're right. That's a good idea. I should. I should. And in the foreword, I'm gonna put, "This all came because Amanda Munoz told me that I should make a book." I'll give you a shout out, dude. I should write something about that. Can you imagine the Audible version? Dude, in my I would do it. I'm gonna work on that. Thank you for that. So, I'm sitting there and I'm eating this breakfast, and all these people are in there and stuff, and I start gaming again, and I'm sitting there because 'cause I'm like, "I gotta stay awake." Have that second latte almost gone, drinking a bunch of water too to stay hydrated. And then I get Then I get a text message from Delta saying, "We apologize, but unfortunately, your flight has been canceled, and we have attempted to get you on another flight, but we were unable to. Contact us for further if you need anything else." I'm like, "Dude, what? What do I do now?" So I immediately Taylor's like, "I love that we can laugh about it now." Yes, me too, because I was not laughing then. I mean, I was laughing a few times, but it's because when you get to that point, all you can do is laugh. And there were a lot of people there who were saying the same thing. It's like, all you can do is laugh, man. All we can do is laugh. So I immediately get on my app and I try to find a flight. There was one seat left on the flight that I was supposed to go on. So I went to buy it. And the seat was like by the bathroom. I was like, I will sit in the fucking bathroom. I don't care. I will pay for the ticket. I get it. And then it refreshes and it says, sorry, sold out. So someone else got it before I could. It refreshed again, and there was another seat left, and it was only in first class. And I was like, I don't care. I'm going to move money over from my savings. I'm not even going to say how much it was that I spent, but I did it because I just wanted to get home. And I actually was able to get that ticket. And I was just so happy that I got it. Luckily, I had done a few voiceover stuff, so I had some in my savings, thank God. But I got the ticket, but the flight wasn't gonna be leaving until about 3:30. Actually, 3:30 is when I was gonna be boarding. Excuse me, the flight itself was gonna be leaving closer to 4. So now I need to try to stay awake even longer, and I'm sitting there, I've got that ticket. And even with those 2 lattes, I feel my eyes getting heavy, and, you know how when you're so tired, like, your body you can feel your body is like, "Bro, we're gonna fall over." So, I thought, "You know what? I need to figure out where my bags are." Now I have a whole other adventure that I need to figure out what to do. A few years back, my good friend April Heinze and I, she is, one of the VPs for Nina. I've known her for years. Her and I were traveling back from a conference. We just happened to be in the same plane, and our connecting was in Atlanta. And our flight got canceled in the middle of the night. And I remembered that we had to get our bags because it was canceled, and we were able to find a couple rooms at a local hotel. Well, here's the thing. Before I ended up going to that gate to that Sky Club that morning, before I found out that my flight was canceled, I was calling hotels to see if I could get a room because I was just going to Uber. And I'm actually glad that I didn't because all of this other shit happened. But the second hotel, the lady says to me, "Sir, I'm going to be honest with you, okay? I'm going to level with you. There are no hotels available for a 50-mile radius. I'm sorry." And I said, "It's okay. There's nothing you can do about it, and everyone else is, we're all in the same bind, so it is okay. I will make it through." And she goes, "I hope you make it home safely." I was like, "Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that." Fast forward, I am trying to get to baggage claim now. And I call my friend April, and it is about 8:30 or 8:40 in the morning now. And I'm like, the caffeine is now starting to kick in because I'm walking around. I wasn't just sitting there gaming, I'm walking around. And now I feel like there's too much caffeine, and I'm just like, my eyes are just. I call her up and I said, "So, do you remember, that and what happened to us?" And she goes, "Yeah, we had to go and get our bags and everything and then recheck them in." I said, "Okay, thank you so much. I just needed confirmation because I couldn't remember." So I make it out of the airport where baggage claim is, and the line is so far back for people trying to get their bags. And as I'm standing there, I check my app, and I scan the UPC code for my bag, and it pops up and it says that my bag has been expedited to Indianapolis. It is currently en route. And I thought, okay, either way, I need to confirm this because I don't want to leave and my bag is actually still at the Atlanta airport. So I'm halfway up and a lady finally walks up and she goes, "Does anyone have just like any quick questions?" And I said, "Yes, me, me." And sounded like fucking Beaker right there. Me. So I'm halfway in line. I said, "Me." I show her my phone and she goes, "I think that means that." And I was like, "I don't need to think." Like, I mean, I didn't say that. In my head, I was like, "I don't need to think. I need a yes. That's what it means." And I said, "Oh, is there any way like we can double check though?" And she goes, "Yeah, let me do that here." So she's got her phone and she's checking it and she goes, "Yes, I can confirm that it is already en route to Indy. It'll be there when you get there, sir." I was like, "Ma'am, thank you so much. Thank you for your kindness. Like one day someone will make a song about your kindness." So I leave out of the line. Excuse me. I get out of line and I go back to security. I'm standing in this one line that has the TSA pre-check rope on it. And on the screen, it says that there's only a 10-minute wait. Well, it's now 20 minutes. And the girl that's ahead of me and then another girl and her mom ahead of her are saying, "This is way more than 10 minutes." And someone turns around and says, "What line do you think you're in?" And they go, "This is the TSA pre-check rope. Isn't this for TSA pre-check?" And he goes, "No." He goes, "I don't know why that rope is there. We're in line just to check in." And we're like, "Oh, we've been in the wrong line this whole time." So we get out of the line and go forward and yep. And I've been to the Atlanta airport before and I that's how fucked up I was. I didn't realize where I was at. Oh, Mariah, what's up? Mariah's up in this too. So I get into the TSA line. It was only like 4 minutes is how long it took me. So I'm back through security again. And now my app is saying that I will be going to like Seagate or something. So I go to the Sky Club in Seagate and I walk up, I go to scan in and well actually I take that back. Before I go to Seagate, I go to B Gate because at the B Gate, there is something called Minute Suites. If you don't know what that is, they are, you pay by the hour for a room to sleep or to work or anything like that. And I was like, I'm going to go do that because maybe I can get in a couple hours of sleep. So I'm waiting in line. I go up and I say, "How does this work?" And they go, "It's $70 an hour for a room." And I said, "Give me 2 hours. I don't care what I pay. Give me 2 hours. I need to sleep." And she goes, "Okay, the next available room is going to be at 2 p.m." I was like, "Oh, no." I said, "I'm going to be getting ready to board around that time." I said, okay, never mind. Thank you so much, though." She goes, "No problem. I'm really sorry." And I said, "No, it's all right. Everyone had the same idea, obviously. So it is cool." So I go back to the Seagate and I go to that Sky Club. I go to check in and it says that something is messed up and I need to speak to one of their reps there. A couple goes behind me and then there's another guy who walks up and he goes to check in and it does the same thing for him. Now here's the thing. This dude, I will just say, he acted as though his shit didn't stink. And the rep that was there helping people goes, "Sir, I need you to move to the side." And he doesn't move. And he goes, "I'm waiting in line to speak to this rep." And she goes, "There are 3 people ahead of you." And he goes, "Okay." And she's like, "It's not a first come, first serve. You need to get him back of the line." And he goes, "Fine." And he goes but he's still in the way of people who are trying to leave. And she starts like, she doesn't put her hands on anyone. She's just showing, like, I need you to move back. I need you to move back. And we're looking at this dude and we're like, what is your problem? So then finally, that girl, she goes, I'm going to send you three or you four upstairs. She opens up the elevator. She goes, you're going to go upstairs and there will be a person there to check in with. And the guy goes, yeah, okay. And we get in and we go up. And as soon as the doors open, he cuts right in front of me to be first. And I was like, just be cool, man. Just let it go. There's no reason. I'm not going to say shit. I'm like, fine. You're going to cut the line. Do what you're going to do. So again, he's first in line now. And I'm right behind him. And the rep that's there, she goes, good morning. How are you doing? And he goes, I'm just trying to get in. Okay. And she's like, oh, okay. I apologize. Okay. And I'm like, why are you being a dick, man? Why? And I mean, I'm thinking that. I didn't say that out loud. And he scans his phone. She's like, go ahead and scan your ticket. He scans it. And she goes, and it was the funniest shit because you could tell that she was loving the fact that she was going to get to say this. And she looks down and she looks at her computer and she goes, well, sir, looking at your ticket here, you have a basic ticket. You're not eligible to come in. In order for you to come in, you need to have at least a main ticket and up, not a basic ticket. And he goes, what? He's like, I have my platinum credit card or whatever. And she goes, yeah, unfortunately, you don't meet the criteria to come in here today. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that. And in my head, I'm just like, oh, dude. Like, this is the karma I was talking about. You were being a straight dick to everyone. Everyone. And now this is happening. And he ends up trying to get one last one in. And he goes, well, you should have told me that from the beginning before I even scanned. And she goes, have a good day, sir. But you can't get in. Oh! And he just gets his stuff and he's like, fine. And he walks out. I was like, there you go, dude. Have a nice day, bitch. So I go and I scan and the lady goes, oh, Mr. Martinez, have you been here long? And I was like, I've been here since yesterday. And she's like, well, your access is for 24 hours. Enjoy. And I was like, thank you. So I go in and I'm just trying to kill time. I got some food. I don't know how much caffeine I had to stay awake. Every so often, I would feel myself go, I would doze off here and there, but it was never like a solid, like passed out. But just in that closing my eyes for a few seconds, I felt like I was refreshed. And I just kept praying and I was like, Lord, please help me. Please help me make it through. Please help everyone else, especially the folks that I was with at the ranch, but everyone who is dealing with this crap. Just help us make it through this. And I'm gaming and I'm gaming and I'm gaming. And then I get a text message and it was from Delta. And I was like, oh my God, please no. And the text said that my gate was back to B gates. And I was like, oh my God, I've been to A gate, E gate, C gate. I was like, okay. So I end up packing up my shit, getting in a lot of these. I didn't even get on the tram. I just walked it. I was getting in my steps. And also because it was waking me up more. So I end up walking back to B gates and I go up there and I was like, back again. Guess who's back? Back again. Richie's back. Oh, tell a friend. So I go back to B Gate. I go into their Sky Club. It is packed to the gills. I find one place that's open. I get a Coke and I continue gaming. And I'm just like, God, please help me. Like, I'm starting to get tired now. And like, I'm almost there. Please, just a little bit longer. And finally gets to time. It's close enough. I go use the bathroom and then I um I go to my gate. And when I get there, it says San Antonio on the screen. I was like, no, I don't want to go back to San Antonio. But it's just that they had not switched the screen yet. So they finally switched the screen. I was like, oh, thank God. So I got some snacks and I got some drinks, and it was crazy. I I'm standing there and I get a text message from Delta and it says that the flight is delayed. I was like, fuck, you've got to be kidding me right now. Please no. But as that happens, they start calling for the standby folks. I check my seat because I didn't pick my seat when I got the ticket and it said at the gate. So I wasn't sure if I needed to go to the gate or it was just when I check in. And so I asked them, they're like, oh, we're going to refresh it here in about 10 or 15 minutes. Don't worry about it. I was like, okay. I was like, I appreciate you guys. I know you, sir, were here yesterday because I saw you. And I know you guys are going through it too. So just thank you for all that you guys do. Like, I appreciate you guys. And they're like, you know what? Thank you for saying that because not a lot of people are appreciating us. And I said, there's nothing you can control. So we're waiting there. I see the plane roll up, and I have never been so fucking happy to see a plane in my life. And I was just so happy that also during this time, I'm checking in on the group, and I had noticed that Caleb hadn't made it home, and I think Sydney had some issues earlier as well in Atlanta. She finally made it home. But so again, we're all checking on each other. Finally get on the plane, and the pilot goes, there are storms happening in Indianapolis, but we have a window. They have gone east and we have a window, so we are going to slam it to get there. The flight was only an hour 20 minutes, but it felt like a lot shorter because when we finally took off, like we're going up, but it felt like as soon as we went up, it was just whoosh. Like it was enough that I had to put my head back and hold on. Like that's how fast it seemed like we were going. And then we finally land. And when I get out into the Indianapolis airport, it was surreal. It felt like I was in a dream. It was, you know how in movies, in dream sequences, it looks like kind of like extra bright? That's how my vision was. Also, I had had those contacts in, and those are dailies, which means you put them on in the morning and you take them off at night. And those things were in all the way until I got home, and I am so surprised that they had not dried out or that they weren't stinging my eyes. I get into my car and my family asks if I'm going to get a room in Indy so that I can just sleep, and I said, "You know what? There are hotels all the way home. If I feel like I'm getting too tired, then I will stop." But I pushed through and I drove all the way home, and as I was pulling into the driveway, that's when I felt my body start to be like, "Okay, it's time to crash." I pull in, my daughters run out and they give me hugs and they're like, "You made it." And I was like, it was so crazy. I ended up taking a quick shower and I crashed out and I slept for 12 hours straight. And then I had a 2-hour nap today before coming live, and I'm still tired. But holy shit, was that an adventure, a misadventure. I have never been in an airport so long or awake that long. And all I can say is that everything that I've learned in dispatch those superpowers, staying calm in any situation, I believe is what helped me get through all of that. Because I could have easily been like everyone else, yelling, screaming. There were people crying as well. I walked by so many people crying because they couldn't get home. And there was nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that emotions were high for everyone. But I think my training and the things that I've experienced and gone through in life is what helped me push through all of that and to stay awake and to not lose my cool and to be calm, to have that emotional intelligence and awareness of everything going on around me that I was able to make it through. And I agree, Kat. I'm glad and thankful that everyone was able to make it home, even with all the bullshit that we all went through. Now, there were a lot of reasons for the delays. Weather was an enormous factor in so many parts of the country, but also there was a Southwest flight. Now, I'm not going to, being live, some words will be flagged. So I don't want them to shut me off. But if you look on TikTok or any reels, there was something that happened that I had kind of seen, but I didn't know if it was real or not. And I think, Taylor, you were the one who sent it to me. I believe so. But there's a video out there of someone who was yelling something on a Southwest flight that was supposed to be going to Nashville that diverted to Atlanta that kind of shut things down as well. Because someone was yelling something. Again, I won't say what it was that they were yelling. You can put it in the comments because I don't think it'll flag it that way. But because I'm live, if I say it, it might like flag my live, and I don't want that to happen. But if you look it up, I believe when they had already landed. All of the people on the flight had their arms up as officers, like to the gills, with their weapons and everything, pulled this person off because of what they were saying. So that was a factor as well. So a lot of things happened. But in the end, there you go, right there. It's in the comments. But in the end, we all made it through. And I think it's like that in all forms of life, in every occupation, but especially in dispatch. If we can all keep our calm, our cool, and communicate with each other, we can make it through anything that is going on. Short staffing, calls, communicating with each other. We can make it through anything, especially if we do it together. So it was an amazing week that had one crazy ending. And I wanted to be able to share that here with all of you because holy shit, was that crazy. And I'm going to have to write about it. Thank you, Amanda. What? Yes. So going into the wrap up of this now hour and almost 45 minutes of Open Mic Live, I told you we had a lot to talk about. And I thank you for hanging in here with me to go through all of this and just allowing me to share my experience with all of you guys. But I love that I got the chance to be there with you all this week and experience the ranch with you. It is always an honor, and I always feel humbled to be there, especially through Imagine Listening and then Open Mic afterwards. And then the conversations that happen afterwards, and then all of us in the saloon doing karaoke. It is just such a great way to decompress. Amanda, you are welcome. Chapter 1, Why I Travel. I almost feel like chapter 1, or maybe an introduction should be like some of those things where it says, I bet you're wondering how I got here. Or I bet you're probably wondering, that's what it is. You're probably wondering how I got here. Start with a teaser, right? Of what they're about to get into, and then go through the misadventures of me. Oh, man. Um, but yeah, I'm always humbled and everything to be there and just experience it with you guys. And then to have this crazy shit happen at the end. It's a way to compare, a lot of things. Like listening to those people scream and yell at the person who is at the desk. It's almost like us in 911 when everyone is calling for help and there's only like we're doing the best that we can. And sometimes we're getting yelled at too. So I was comparing a lot of this stuff with life and work and how we push through and how we make it and how there are some folks there that are, living it with us, but also giving us support even when you don't realize it. And it felt like that's what each rep that I spoke to was doing, was giving some sort of a support or like, we'll make it through. So thank you to Joe for always having me out there. It's an honor to do it, an honor to close out the ranch with Imagine Listening and Open Mic, but also to experience the entire week with all of you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot. And I can't wait to see where all of you end up putting everything that you learned. And if you ever want to be a guest on the podcast, let me know because I would love to have you on. Seriously. I know a few of you that I spoke to personally. We're going to be doing episodes, so I cannot wait. Ryan says, thank you again for all you do and spreading the word of the hard work we do. I'm all about it, man. I did it for so long, and I'm just proud of all of you guys, and all of your stories deserve to be heard all over the world. So thank you for what you do. Woo! This has been an awesome one. Thank you all for being here with me tonight. And for any questions, comments, you ever want to be a guest on the flagship show, Within the Trenches, also the Imagine Listening that we recorded, I'm going to push through and put it out towards the end of this week so that you all can hear it. And then I'm going to catch up on all of the other episodes that have been there. So make sure to look out for that for the Imagine Listening podcast. But for all of the information, you can simply go to the link that is on the screen, and that is links.co/IM911. That is links with two eyes.co/IM911. You'll find everything there. You'll find my email, social media, where to follow, where to hear the latest episodes of the Within the Trenches podcast, as well as the Imagine Listening podcast. There's a link there to set up an episode for Within the Trenches. There's a 30-minute one and a 60-minute one. Unless you absolutely need the 30-minute one, choose the 60, because there's no way we're going to do an entire episode on just the 30. We need the 60. So there you have it. There's that. And then also the link for the free community, the Trenches, is on there. Again, I'm going to be on there this week. I'm going to be putting a bunch of stuff, and make sure to check it out. There is so much good stuff in continuing education that you'll find there, and it's all free as well. Also, if you're looking for the Imagine Listening books, there are 2 links there from Amazon. You will find those. Now, I will say really quick, there are 2 versions of Volume 1. The original one was through a publisher that screwed me, and so don't buy that one. Buy the ones that are the pictures that are there in the links.co/IM901. You'll see them there. Those are the ones. Those are Ricardo's versions, and they're the best ones. So buy them from there. Also, if you're looking for any Podcast Dispatch merch, you'll find the link there as well. One last time, links with two eyes.co/IM911. You will find it there. And this can be seen on Facebook, YouTube, as well as X, but you can find clips to the show and some of my personal stories on TikTok Reels, Instagram Reels, and Facebook Reels. You'll find them all there. And then you can listen 24/7 to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and withinthetrenches.net. Have a good one, everyone. Thank you for everything that you do for our profession, and I will see you all in the next one.